Hey pal, it's me again. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to switch things up a little bit for this video and talk about what I've been listening to in the month of July. A lot of new stuff, a lot of old stuff, and I'm trying to put y'all on to what I'm listening to. These are in no particular order in terms of how much I listen to them, like most to least, just a general list of what I've been listening to this past month. Quick disclaimer, I'm not going to be playing any of the music that I talk about in this video just to avoid copyright issues. With that said, let's get right into it. I'm going to talk about the singles that I've been listening to, and then I'll get into the albums. So first up, the singles. The first song I am going to be talking about is Take to the Sea and Run by Comet Girl. Comet Girl I've been listening to for a few months. She's kind of a not as well-known artist. She doesn't have that much music out, but from what I've listened to, it's really good. I first got introduced to her from a cover of an Alex G song called Break that I really, really like. And I really like her cover of it. After I heard that song, I went into her discography. This is her latest single, and I think it's really good. Also, I believe she released a slowed version and a sped up version to the song. So yeah, there's multiple versions of this song, whatever floats your boat. All right, the next song I'm going to be talking about is called Crybaby by Superflirt. Superflirt is again another kind of underground artist. Not a whole lot of music out, but what is out from them, I really enjoy. This is like an indie pop song. It's got really good vocals to it. And one thing about Superflirt that I've noticed is that kind of the way they structure their songs, they kind of end the song in like a way that wants you like leaving more. You know, it doesn't end with like the hook that you've heard throughout the entire song. It doesn't end with like a satisfying verse or anything. It just kind of like leaves you on a cliffhanger almost. And I feel like that kind of brings you back to them, you know? So I would definitely recommend this song. Next song came out a few years ago, but I just discovered it maybe a month or two ago. It's called October by Punk Goth. I think I first heard this song in a travel vlog on YouTube, and I was like, whoa, I really like the energy of this song. So I went in the description of the video and found the song from there. I went into this artist's discography a little bit, not too much, but I poked around with some songs, and again, another pretty underground artist. But yeah, this song is, I feel like, is a lot different than all their other songs. And I enjoyed the song a lot more than the rest of their discography. It's definitely like an upbeat electric guitar indie song that kind of makes you want to like travel across America. Definitely like main character energy type of song. So if you're into that, definitely check this song out. It's definitely worth it. All right, next song is a single from an R&B artist called Orion Sun. I've been listening to them for a few years now. I remember their last project was an EP, I believe, called Getaway, and I really enjoyed a lot of songs from there. It's not your typical like contemporary R&B. It definitely is more instrumental in ways that your standard R&B songs aren't. And I mean, the vocals, of course, are really good. So Orion Sun is another great R&B artist. If you're trying to look for something that's not your typical, you know, classic like R&B, maybe like alternative R&B, definitely check out Orion Sun. And this is a great song by them. Moving on, the next song I want to talk about is called Brand New by the artist Yeek. And I've been a fan of them, I think, since 2019. I originally heard him in a feature with Umi way back in the day, and I just kind of kept following him. His last album I really enjoyed. His last album was called Future Reference, which came out in 2023, I want to say. Yeah, 2023. This artist definitely mixes a lot of genres between like house music, pop music, hip hop, kind of a nice fusion, and creates very interesting music, in my opinion. This artist seems to be gearing up for their new upcoming album, which seems to be more house and dance related. So definitely more up-tempo club bangers. So if you're into that, I would check this song out as well. Moving along, the next song I want to talk about is called Runaway Girl by Memoria. This is another very underground artist. I think I found this song from a station that I created, and Apple Music users, you know what I'm talking about. But when you like a song, you can like create a station and it'll recommend similar songs to you based on that song. And I think I created a station from the punk goth song October that I was talking about earlier, and this one came up as a recommendation. It definitely has like lo-fi production. It's not like this most super produced song or like overproduced song, and I don't really like overproduced songs. Like a lot of hip hop has really great production, which kind of turns me off, and same with a lot of mainstream pop. I like where you can kind of hear where the production is being placed and being used. So this song really emphasizes that aspect of production, which I find really charming. So this is similar to the punk goth song that I talked about earlier, but it also is a little more acoustic and a little slower and just a little bit different, but still great melodies, and it's fun to listen to in my opinion. Next up is a song that I've been listening to a lot when it first came out, which is called All of My Love by Oso Oso. Another artist that I don't think too many people know of, indie alternative singer-songwriter. Yeah, this song is definitely like a more up-tempo rock-ish song, but yeah, I love the melody, love the chorus on this song. They definitely make very catchy songs. So again, if you're into indie alternative music, this is another great recommendation from me. The next song I want to talk about is from another independent artist, very underground, named Shadi. This song is called Selfish. I believe it is their latest single. It's definitely like an electric type of vibe to it. Definitely elements of hip hop and R&B, some vocal modulation, but yeah, very great melodies. And I always love supporting like independent artists who are underground and doing it on their own. I really love that. Yeah, I definitely have to listen to more of this artist for sure. I just been bumping this one song this past month. A lot of energy and blends genres very, very well, in my opinion. All right, last single I'm going to be talking about for now is called Magic by Strongboy. Strongboy is a duo. They're definitely like a laid back, chill type of vibe, definitely a little slower. I would compare them to like Men I Trust or the Marias, that type of vibe. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of their work. They released an album last year. I started listening to them, so really good stuff. Go check them out for sure if you like a slow, relaxed, indie, lounge, R&B type of music. They are really, really good. All right, now into the albums. I've been bumping a lot of albums over the last month. A lot of stuff that has came out recently. I feel like this year has been a really big year for music, at least the music and artists that I listen to personally. But the first album I want to talk about is Submarine by the Marias. This came out a few months ago at the time of recording this, and I know they're on tour right now, and I see on TikTok everyone's talking about how nice their shows are. I actually saw them in 2022. They are my favorite band ever. I love the Marias. I've been listening to them since, I want to say like 2018, 2019. So quite a while now, like 5 years at least. And yeah, they are my favorite band of all time. I think everything they've made is like crazy. I love all their albums, their EPs, everything. And part of me is excited to see their success and see how much they've grown. It's really cool when you see an artist that's like really underground and you see them kind of elevate in the music industry. But also that gatekeeping part of me just so bitter that everyone is now being exposed to my favorite band that no one knew about, you know. But all jokes aside, this album is really, really good. these are the songs off the album that have been in my rotation heavy. As you can see, it's most of the songs from the album. And yeah, it's just really good to see how consistent they've been over the years. They haven't switched up their style in a major way, but you can still see that they're taking risks and really improving on what they are already super good at. So if you haven't heard of the Marias already, definitely check them out. You won't regret it. Next album I want to talk about actually came out this month, just a few weeks ago at time of recording this. And I think it might be my favorite album of the year so far. And that is Charm by Clairo. I am a pretty big fan of Clairo. I wasn't a huge fan of her last album, Sling, but this album is incredible. Every song on there is just amazing. The full album is in my rotation, which is very rare for me to like play a whole album constantly. You know, I like, if I play one song off this album, I have to play every song. And I feel like every time I play it over again, I choose a new favorite song that I didn't pick last time I listened to it. I feel like this is one of those albums that if you ask 10 different people what their favorite song is off this album, you're going to get 10 different answers, which I love that. This album is so cohesive and consistent. The instrumentation is beautiful. It's whimsical. The vocals are always good from Clairo. She's been making music for quite a few years now, and it's really exciting to see an artist like that grow and expand their music knowledge and abilities over time. For someone who is one of the pioneers in like indie bedroom pop, she's like totally a super well established, talented musical artist now. And yeah, it's really cool and refreshing to see how much she has grown throughout her career. So yeah, a lot of people are talking about this album. I think it's one of the best albums to come out this year so far. So if you haven't listened to this album already, what are you doing? Go listen to it. Moving on to the next album I have on my list is Why Lord by No Worries. Now, for those of you who don't know, the No Worries, it is a duo of Anderson .Paak and the producer Knxwledge. The combination of these two coming together is incredible. Now, their original album, they came out, I think, in 2018. Both the original album and the remixed version, I think, are two of my most played albums of all time. I love those two albums. So when I found out that these two were coming together again years later to create another excellent body of work, I couldn't be more happy. I think all of the great elements that were there on the first album are here again. I think the beats are amazing. The songwriting, the lyrics, the harmonies, the melodies, they're all really good. The one thing that's different though is that there are features on this album. There's not a ton of features, but I think the features that are on this album really help and add to each of these songs. Earl Sweatshirt is on here, Charlie Wilson, Ray Khalil is on a few of these songs, and there's a song with her also. I love this album. I've been playing it heavy. It's like a great mix of lo-fi, hip-hop, and R&B coming together. These are the songs that have been heavy in my rotation, and yeah, I'm just so glad that these two came together again to deliver on such a fantastic album. Moving on, we have Ravina's latest album, Where Do Butterflies Go in the Rain. I like quite a few songs off this album. These are the ones that I have in rotation. Again, putting a little twist on R&B, like an alternative R&B album. Not your like classic contemporary R&B, but great lyrics, great vocals, great instrumentation on here. All around, really great stuff. And yeah. Next album I want to talk about, going back to indie pop music for a second, is Still Woozy's latest album, Love Seat. Still Woozy, I mean, he's, I think, one of the most creative and original artists out there. I think his instrumentation is like really well done on all of his songs. I think he sets himself apart from other artists due to his instrumentation, his his lyrics, his vocals. Like, he's definitely a one-of-one artist. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him before. If not, I would definitely check him out. These are the songs that I am bumping heavy in my rotation. Overall, great stuff. I've been a fan of Still Woozy for quite some time now, so I was really pumped that we got another Still Woozy album this year. Moving on, we have the latest album from one of my favorite bands, Crumb. It's AMAMA or Emma. I don't know how you say it, but really like psychedelic indie lounge, not dissimilar to like Men I Trust or the Marias, but I think there's definitely a darker, more psychedelic aspect to their music. I think a lot of the songs on here are a little bit more fast paced than what they've previously put out. I'm really glad that we got another Crumb album to come out this year. Definitely check them out. These are the songs that have been heavy in my rotation with that album. Moving along, this is an album that came out over 20 years ago, but I'm just now discovering it recently. This album is Details by Frou-Frou. Again, not sure how you say that, but this is another duo from vocalist and instrumentalist Imogen Heap and producer Guy Sigsworth. I first discovered them because after this album's 20-year anniversary, they released all the demos and all the offcuts that didn't make it on this album. And one of the songs blew up on TikTok, and that song is A New Kind of Love. How this song didn't make it on the original album is crazy to me, but I remember I first heard this song in like an edit on TikTok, and I was like, well, what is this song? That song and so many other songs on this album are like so euphoric. You know, it does something to my brain that makes me feel something that I've never felt before. Nostalgic, but new at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. Like this dissonance of like something brand new, but also feeling like you've known it your whole life. It's really, really interesting. So I discovered that song, and then I was like, oh wait, they have one album out. So I listened to that album, and it's unlike anything that will ever come out today. It's truly a product of its time, but it's also like so timeless, you know, like, I don't know. It's so hard to explain. There's such a big juxtaposition, I feel like, with how you have to describe this album that you just really have to listen to it. This is another one that I've just been playing the whole album. You know, once I play one song, I have to play the rest. Speaking of albums that came out a while ago, the next album that I've been listening to is Latin for Lovers by Doris Day. Now, this album came out in 1965, and again, it's truly a product of its time. Nobody makes music like this anymore, but I think like this bossa nova element, this kind of Latin styled guitar on a lot of these tracks, and with the strings, it's like the best type of music in my opinion. Go listen to this if you want that classic 60s music and songwriting. These are the songs that have been heavy in my rotation, and some of these songs just make you feel like you're in Narcos or something. Switching genres here, another underground duo is Future Magics. I saw them on TikTok. I liked their stuff. They're a metal band. They just released an album this year, but I've been listening to their album that they put out last year, Future Magics and the Infinite Eternal Abyss. Really good stuff. It's mostly instrumentals. There's not a whole lot of vocals on this album, but still really, really good instrumentation. Yeah, if you're not like a super metalhead, I would listen to them because they have a few songs that are like kind of in between indie, alternative rock, and full on death metal. So I think they're like a good gateway into metal if that's something that you're trying to get into. And the last album that I want to talk about actually just came out yesterday at the time of recording this video. It's Empire of the Sun's new album, Ask That God. Now, I don't really know too much about Empire of the Sun. Of course, everyone knows their song, Walking on a Dream. So when I saw they released an album this year, I was like, oh wow, they don't really release that much music, so I listened to their album. I think I have to listen to it a few more times to really get a good feel of it, but these are the songs that I've been playing already, and these are the ones that stand out to me the most so far. With that said, I think that's going to do it for this video. I didn't want to go too in depth of each song and each album, but if that's something you want to see for a specific album or something, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video or got some good recommendations, please let me know in the comments and give this video a like so I know to keep doing this. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next video. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.